people get ready, there's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board.
There's numerous people running up the hill alongside Elm Street, there by the Simmons Freeway. Several police officers are rushing.
From the moment the president was killed, many eyewitnesses testified that they believed there was a man with a gun on the grassy knoll. One eyewitness was Malcolm Summers, who reenacted his experience for Nova.
After the motor van had passed, I waited about a minute, and then I came running over across to the knoll. When I got here, I was stopped by a person in a suit with an overcoat over his arm, thrown over his arm. Also had a gun under his arm. It looked like a little machine gun to me, a small machine gun.
Malcolm Summers was one of several eyewitnesses, including at least one Dallas policeman, who ran into people claiming to be federal officials and who were never found. Chief Counsel for the House Assassination Committee, Robert Blakey.
A careful examination of where all of the Secret Service agents were that day and their duty assignments indicates that no Secret Service agent was in that area.
Another eyewitness, Skinny Holland, watched from this overpass. Josiah Thompson interviewed Holland for his book.
He said that he and 6 or 7 of his fellows also saw some puffs of smoke come out from under the bushes near a stockade fence on the grassy knoll. This meant so much to them that they ran right over there as soon as the shooting was over. About 15 feet down from the corner, he found some fresh footprints, some cigarette butts, indications that somebody had been there.
Memories can fade, but photographs are fixed in time. This perhaps was the most photographed murder in history. And critics thought they saw a gunman in at least 6 different Dealey Plaza pictures. This man appears to shoot directly at the camera, but photo analysis revealed he was only lights and shadows. Critics said this open umbrella was a CIA weapon, which the man holding it used to fire a dart that paralyzed Kennedy in the neck. But a witness told Congress he was the man with the umbrella, and he had held it open to make a symbolic political statement.
Committee staff opened this umbrella so we can ascertain there's no dart gun in it.
They're, as far as I'm concerned, they're certainly welcome to.
Maybe you ought to turn that way with it.
Congress hired a group of experts to examine all the photos. In this one, the limousine is in the foreground, moments before Kennedy was first wounded. On the grassy knoll is a shape resembling a black dog. Photo analyst Bobby Hunt.
It was a black shape, apparently the head and shoulders of a man. In the region of what we'd call the face, there was some pink tones, purported to be flesh tones. And there was also an object which looked like a rifle with a flash suppressor or a nozzle on the rifle. Well, we concluded that this was a human being. That conclusion was derived from the enhancement and from some color spectrographic analysis we did on the visible flesh tones of the object. We did not conclude, however, that that was a rifle. We simply said it was consistent with a blur induced by the motion of the photograph.
Critics argued this picture showed that same person from another angle, right at this point in the photo. The Congressional Photo Team decided not to enhance it because it was too deteriorated. At Nova's request, researchers at Polaroid and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology agreed to look at the photo. First, Brian Hallstrom scanned the negative of the photo to measure the light intensity, bit by bit, of every part of the picture. A computer tape with that information was given to Steve Isabel, who used a number of techniques to increase the contrast and sharpen the edges of objects seen in the photo. An outline has been added to suggest what critics claim is the man and the flash of a gun hiding part of his face. Hallstrom and Isabel believe this could be a man, but this spot is most likely sunlight filtering through trees.
What I see is an object that could possibly be a person. Can you see that?
I think that requires a little bit of imagination, but I believe that you can see something is there about the right size.
Some people believe there's another suspicious shape in a different part of the photo, behind the fence. It's in the same place where Skinny Holland and others saw a puff of smoke and fresh footprints. If that shape was an assassin, this is the view he would have had. The model shows that his view of the limousine would have been partially blocked by a retaining wall on the knoll. Kennedy appears here. A gunman could have aimed and fired. The location of the limousine in the model corresponds with frame 313 of the Zapruder film. In the Zapruder film, it can be seen that Connolly is turning, perhaps in reaction to hearing the first shot. Then both he and Kennedy are hidden behind the sign when they presumably were both wounded by the second shot. Kennedy is struck in the head and killed at this moment. Frame 313. The model does not prove someone struck the president from the knoll. It does show that it was possible. The violent motion of Kennedy's head to the left and backwards is another reason many people believe the shot came from the grassy knoll. It seemed to be a logical conclusion. Dr. Wecht.
If you have that kind of force slamming into the rear of somebody's head, then that should drive the individual forward. But instead we have him moving backward and to the left. That suggests the very distinct possibility of another shot having been fired in synchronized fashion from the right side, the so-called grassy knoll area.
But a test using 6.5 millimeter bullets firing into human skulls appears to discount this argument. Dr. John Latimer, a physician and Warren Commission defender, filmed his own test, shooting at a skull filled with white paint and brain tissue. Shot from behind, the skull is propelled backward, similar to what happened to Kennedy. Although not conclusive, the test suggests the fatal shot could have come from behind. This view also was expressed by the late Nobel physicist Luis Alvarez. So neither the photographic evidence nor the movement of Kennedy's head prove he was struck from the grassy knoll. But much of the eyewitness testimony has never been explained, and there were ear witnesses who heard shots from several locations. Malcolm Summers.
I do think the first shot came from the school book depository up there. And then when the second one came, I did not know who all was shooting. I was thinking it was more than one person shooting. The first shot sounded just like a little pop. It sounded like a firecracker from a faraway distance. The other sounded real close, real close.
Years after the assassination, it was claimed that the sounds of the gunshots that Summers and others heard had been picked up by a microphone accidentally stuck open on a police motorcycle and recorded on a dictabelt at Dallas Police Headquarters. Critics argued the dictabelt recorded the sounds of 4 gunshots, one more than Oswald could have fired. Were the sounds the actual shots?